this game kind of straddles the line between both extremes, where yeah, you're dealing with an illicit invasion, but also and along with other shenanigans, but also, hey, I want to do this side quest over here, and you don't
Yeah.
feel like, well, I mean, if you don't do that, if you don't deal with this invasion, you'll never be able to do this. I mean, Larian. And how they and what they can do with it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of there's a lot of there's just a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of stuff you could do. I just finished the you know, saving a certain area, and they there was, you know, I came across the video, and there's a lot of ways that you could have tackled that
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah,
that
and
area.
all of them are viable. Like
Yeah,
you could make friends with an orc big boss and his crew, and you can have them come in and say, "Hey, go take those goblins out, man. I ain't dealing with this shit." Just stand back and let them do what they do. You know,
yeah,
if you're a charisma based character build, there's a lot of ways to solve the problem. Like basically, Baldur's Gate 3 is more in the vein of like old school Obsidian, like how there's like 8 or 9 different ways to solve a problem versus what we have now with a lot of RPGs where it's like, oh, there's just one or two, like there's one or two choices and they're binary.
yeah,
And or like it's Dragon Age 2 where it's like no matter what choice you make, you're fucked.
yeah, yeah. Now there are times when I wish there was like, you know, they give you like two. Sometimes I wish that there's like a choice in between that choice, but I think part of that also might be dependent on what character you use, because certain characters, you know, have,
Also stats.
yeah, also have various different
Yeah,
conversation quotes. So
because you'll have to do different you have to roll for different like if you want to do certain things. So if you want to do a more charismatic and get someone to do something they normally wouldn't do, you'd have to roll a charisma stat, and if you're low charisma, it probably won't even show up, or if it does show up, you're probably going to fail it because the character who's talking doesn't have a high enough stat in that.
yeah, like a stereo would probably give for a certain uh, events where you have to try to convince, you know, people, or, you know, because he's a rogue type, and I think rogue usually have relatively decent charisma.
I mean, it depends on the type of rogue.
Yeah,
The thing about D&D is that like you have a general archetype, but then you have permutations within that archetype. For example, the ranger, right? When people think ranger, they think, okay, like originally the ranger was conceived as kind of like Robin Hood. Like he's in the woods, he's got like a fucking bow, maybe he's kind of good at sword fighting, you know.
yeah,
But really, really, there's different permutations to a ranger. There's an urban ranger. An urban ranger is not going to be at home in the woods, but you put him in a city and he can fuck you up. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, exactly.
like, so it's like you kind of have to there's different permutations to um there's different permutations to everything, like so you can't go by, well, this person is good, like, I mean, like, for example, right, you say a rogue or a thief, okay, this person is a thief, that means they're good at stealing shit, but isn't a strong arm person who goes around just forcing people, like beating people up and taking their money, isn't that also a thief? So aren't they both fall into the mantle of thief? One guy is way more one guy's sneaky, the other guy is pretty upfront. Look, give me the money, I'm going to break your arm. They're both
Yeah,
thieves. They both are members of the thieves guild. They're both part of the brotherhood in the city. neither of which are very charismatic. Now, maybe the guy who's their handler is charismatic, but the sneaky thief is just like all his shit's in agility and dexterity, and the muscle bound guy, his shit's in muscle in physical strength and vitality. He's like, I need to be able to take a punch, give a punch, not take too much damage when people fight back.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, this game allows that level of customization because, it's and they gave the right property to the right people who basically did with it what you should do, and
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there.
Yep.
We are live. This is Kenoshi Mamonito. Here later than usual. Took a nap. Slept a little bit longer than I thought I was gonna do. Thought I was just gonna sleep for like an hour, but it didn't turn out that way. But still ended up showing up. But before we get on to our topics, I'd like my panelist member to introduce himself.
Hello, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. I'm glad to be on this podcast. It's always lovely to be on a podcast where you're just a guest and not the showrunner.
Yeah, glad to have you. Any case, I just was going on to our first topic. I just remembered that that apparently Gamescom was opening night was today. I don't know if you caught anything pertaining to it. Did you catch any news at all?
About Gamescom?
Yeah.
I did. They have a complete list of all the announcements they had. I didn't watch it, and I'm not going to watch it. But okay. But I do have a list of the trailer announcements and stuff like that. I mean, most of it was nothing. There were no real surprises.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing here. I'm not gonna read through everything, but there was nothing there that was like, oh my god, I can't believe this. This is amazing. Like obviously Starfield, Little Nightmares 3, Black Myth Wukong. That's that game that has the real Sun Wukong, the real Son Goku as in the Japanese version of it. And that's coming out in 2024. I'm looking forward to that game. I know it's a Souls-like game, but we get so very few actual Monkey King stuff, because everyone's like, well, it's Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball's not the Monkey King. Goku is not Sun Wukong.
Well, yeah. It's just so weird, just because it's just a big inspiration to a lot of modern day anime.
What's the Monkey King? Well, mostly just Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were pretty much the gateway for so many people to get into anime. Even though, if you really take a step back, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z aren't really that good.
Yeah,
they're mostly mediocre. Like there's certain arcs that are like, oh man, this part was cool. Like maybe 25% of this 25 episode arc was great.
Yeah. Or
this 25 chapter arc was great. But then the actual but then the other like 16, 17 issues are like, it's up or down. It's inconsistent. I would say if you want to see really good Akira Toriyama stuff, I would say look at his less celebrated stuff like Dr. Slump or Sandland.
Yeah.
or the one he did about Kid Dracula. Kid Dracula's kind of funny. Stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, but that's neither here nor there. Killing Floor 3, Rebel Moon, yeah, Zack Snyder came out there. He's like, yeah, I'm coming out with a movie. Don't give a shit. Crimson Desert, which I guess is the game from the people who made Black Desert. Payday 3, which seemed really interesting until I found out, oh, we're going to have microtransactions. It's always online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, ow. That's like a girl saying, oh man, I'm taking you home. Yeah! To look at cat photos of my fat ass cat that doesn't like anybody and will pee on your jacket. Meow. Assassin's Creed Mirage with voice acting that's fully voice acted in Arabic, which I guess is cool. They're finally bringing Assassin's Creed back to its Prince of Persia roots.
Yeah.
Tekken 8, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Nightingale, which looks interesting. I haven't seen the trailer, but just the little thumbnail on the trailer looks like some Cthulhu shit right here. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Immortals of Avium, which looks interesting. I might get that game.
That's a
Zenless.
what I've seen about it, because there's a review about that came out from Skill Up. It looks interesting. It looks like a game that I would probably get on the sale. And when it drops to like $30, I think I'd probably pick it up. But I don't know if it's a game I would probably. It's not something I'd pay full price for. I lose you?
No. I was letting you continue with your thing. It looks Immortals of Avium looks interesting to me because it's something we don't see. We don't see we don't see games that basically say, okay, how would magic work in a combat perspective, just straight up combat, and they're doing it, and it's actually working. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, is it gonna work? I don't know, but we'll try. We gonna see what happens. Okay. That being said, I'll probably get that game. I've already almost blown my budget. I spent $70 on pre-order for Starfield on Steam, and I got fucking what's it called? What's that other one? I got $60 on Baldur's Gate. Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, which is from the same people who made some other shit. I don't know. Lords of the Fallen, Sonic Superstars, Sonic Frontiers is getting an update. No one cares. First Descendant, Under the Waves, Fort Solis, Expeditions, The Crew Motorfest, Cyberpunk 2077, Stormgate, Last Epoch, Marvel Snap is coming to Steam, so I guess that's cool. Armored Core 6, Warhaven, Mortal Kombat 1, Ara, History Untold, Diablo 4 announced their new season, Dustborn, and Thank Goodness You're Here, which is a game, not me saying anything. Alan Wake, and they ended it out with Alan Wake 2.
I think we can all agree that my trailer voice
my thing is like, I want to be excited about Gamescom, but Jeff Keighley's involved with it, and I don't like Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Like, Jeff Keighley's the kiss of death for me. The only thing that I'm like, oh man, Jeff, was how Jeff single-handedly tanked the Xbox One with what's his name? With that guy. He's like, so let me get this straight. You're telling people if they don't want always online, they should just stick with their old consoles. like, god damn, dude. But did no one think before they...
Streaming Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm looking at a slightly different list. It's not in the same order for some strange reason. But I saw that they're making Little Nightmare 3. I didn't know the second
Yeah,
one came out.
yeah, that was on the list. Little Nightmare
Yeah,
3.
yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, wait, they made a second one? The second one already came out?
Well, people liked that first game because it was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
And people like that second game. People like that first game because it was weird. They're like, "Oh, this is horrifying." I'm like, I don't want to play a game and be scared. I'm not trying to be scared while I'm playing a game. Not to say I'm like everyone's like, "Oh man, Resident Evil was scary." Really? It's fucking zombies, and it's not really scary. For me, the supernatural is scarier than zombies. So like Shadow Man, where you're fighting the devil, or Silent Hill, where it's like psychological horror, body modification. That's way scarier than like some damn zombies. Because zombies, we all know how to kill zombies. We know how from movies. Shoot them in the head, they're dead.
Yeah.
That'd be, oh no, we can't. Just shoot them in the head. Shit. Always want to make shit complicated. Oh, well, I don't know what we're gonna do with the zombies. Just shoot them in the head and keep it moving. Shit. Always want to make everything difficult. Yeah, but no, I will not be watching Gamescom. I'll just like look at the list of announcements after the fact and be like, oh, that's interesting, or oh, don't care.
Yeah, I really can't get into these um, game shows like I used to. Oh, the
I'll
Grand
be
Blue.
honest with you. I'm about to say something that's going to be blasphemy for some people. I'm not really that crazy about Nintendo Directs these days either.
Neither am I, actually. Neither am I.
I
Once in a while they'll come out with, something cool, but it's not. It's not the end of the world if, you know.
as a matter of fact, I'll tell you this: when Iwata stopped doing hours, I really stopped caring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know people like to, people are already rubbing their hands together, getting ready for the next direct, and I'm just kind of like,
Who
don't have anything
cares?
else to do?
I mean, look, listen. The next direct is gonna be the same shit it always is. They're probably gonna announce DLC for Tears of the Kingdom, like an expansion or some shit, like they did with the first game, and then they're gonna talk about the new Mario game. Segway.
Yeah, yeah. And then, and then one quick other aside pertaining to Gamescom, the new Grand Blue Fantasy RPG is finally getting a release date. They've been teasing this game for I don't know how many years without a
well,
release date, and they finally got a release date.
there's been a lot of spin-offs.
Yeah,
Like these weird, the like Grand Blue, whatever, Grand Blue. Because when I think Grand Blue Fantasy, I don't know about you, but I think this is an RPG.
yeah,
But the spin-offs are like, it's a fighting game. I'm like, but I don't really want to play an RPG, a fighting game based on an RPG. That makes no sense.
yeah,
Why?
yeah,
But hey, look, I remember seeing it. I'm like, I'm not really feeling this. I'm the anti-Naruto. I wasn't feeling it. I'm feeling it. Are you? Are you though? For real? Could you be more obnoxious? Yeah, I wasn't feeling the Grand Blue. Although, look, man, I'm glad they finally showed something, and hopefully, maybe this one will be an RPG and not whatever bullshit those spin-offs have been.
Let's begin.
You know.
So, another game I'm excited for. It's coming out Friday. Is Armored Core. Are you picking that up, or are you Are you not interested?
I'm not against Armored Core. I just am not. Like, I remember playing the games back in the day on the PS2, and I was like, it's okay. I'm not enthralled with Armored Core. Because they're better games. They're better games with they're better mech games than Armored Core. I like Armored Core for me was too actiony. I liked Front Mission because that was more tactical.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Like,
I could see that.
like the only time I've played a game where I was like, oh, well, me piloting this mech, it actually is cool, was in that Capcom game, Heavy Metal, Heavy Steel, something like that, where they had the special controller they made just for the Xbox. That massive fucking but that was like you were piloting a mech.
Yeah, wasn't that like a $200 controller?
Man, I don't know. I went to a friend's house and played it. I didn't actually get the control. Look, man, I was still on that I'm never going to buy an Xbox because fuck American video game companies kick. Because I was like, after Atari and the 360 debacle and all that shit, I was like, I'm not paying money for this shit. But, I mean, like, my point being is just simply to say this. People, like, unless I'm playing a game that has mechs like that, or you're going like Front Mission or something like that, then I'm not interested. But the idea of like playing a game and like having mechs and shit has always been cool. The problem is it's never well executed to me.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to have well executed mechs in a video game.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it, especially if you're into the technical aspects of mechs and you want to be able to control have full control of the functionality of a mech suit. I get it.
Well, I mean, it's not that. It's just if you're gonna have a mech, if you're gonna have a game with like mechs and shit and all that other stuff, then what you need to have is there needs to be weight to your movement. And most mech games I've played, the ones that most of which suck, there's not a weightiness. Like even the new Armored Core doesn't play like the old Armored Cores. The new Armored Core, just from what I saw in the little like gameplay demos they showed, I'm like, this looks like some anime shit. The old Armored Core games, those mechs had a weight to them that when you moved, it's like you were moving around in a tank.
Yeah.
There was a weight to it. This game doesn't it's like some anime shit, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it.
No. Yeah.
I know some people are going to be like, but I insert reason here why that's not an issue, blah 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 blah. But look, listen, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I sense something.
Okay, you don't have to agree. You could, in fact, disagree. But that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
In any case, anything else before we move on to the next before we move on to the next topic?
No, nothing. Except, like I said, it's just like I said, it's just kind of like, okay, like where is this going? What are we doing? With some of these games. And just my final thoughts on Gamescom is I was really interested until they told me that Jeff Keighley was running it. I was like, pew.
Oh.
Jeff Keighley is like when someone says Jeff Keighley, I'm like, this guy.
Yeah. I'm kind of sick of seeing him too. But in any case,
We don't see him very often, but we see him more now than we did back in the day when he was just a host.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't want him to. I'm just not ultra thrilled about him being like the face of a lot of these big game shows, but
Yeah,
that might just be what happens. And it's just
I think he's trying to build his brand up, you know, like it's a
yeah,
big deal for him. But
yeah,
for me, it doesn't mean anything because I'm like I know I see Jeff Keighley for what and whom he truly is.
yeah.
So I'm not enthralled. Oh, Jeff Keighley. I'm like, fuck him.
In any case,
Mm.
let's see. Oh yeah, Linus Tech Tips is relatively hot water. Apparently, they're starting to bleed subscribers. Um, Again, I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. I think of course, a lot of the information that's come out is pretty damaging. His apology was pretty poor. I don't know if you saw it, but it was not a stellar apology. It was less than stellar, as my old English teacher used to say when we turned in a paper that wasn't exactly
That was some
correct.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's like this is less than stellar. Yeah, his apology was less than stellar. Um,
Fair.
a
I
couple,
didn't watch the apology
yeah,
because, like, I'm passingly familiar with it, but I'm not like enthralled with this drama going on here. What I will say is, functionally speaking, I mean, they're at a crossroads. Okay, they can still turn things around right now, or things can keep on going the way they've been going. If they're smart, they will legitimately take steps to turn things around.
So, the day after Gamers Nexus released this video, it wasn't it? Maybe it was day after, a few hours after. Shortly after that video went out, there's a woman her name is Madison. I can't remember her last name. One of her first videos with Lions Tech Tips was with that PC build thing that they do, which through random luck, you would be able to get to go to Linus headquarters and build essentially get a free PC, go on a video, build a PC. That was one of the videos that she showed up in. She ended up getting a job there, and um, there's videos out talking about what she said on her Twitter on her Twitter. She had a Twitter thread. I'm not calling it X. You can go to hell, Elon. This is the whole X thing is retarded, but whatever. Or not. It's really dumb. Sorry, let's say the whole X thing is really dumb. Um, but yeah, the basically she's talking about a lot of the stuff that was happening within the company. Anytime there was any sort of abuse, uh, and she went to upper management to deal with it. They just basically told her to shove it and learn to live with it, grow up, and there's just a lot of stuff like that. Now, I take it with a grain of salt because she's one of the only ex-employees to come out and say that.
Well, I mean, it's how can I put this? Let me say this without getting canceled? Okay, so functionally speaking, what she described is just a standard a high pressure working environment
Yeah,
by people above her who didn't know how to manage that organization.
yeah,
Um, So, like, a lot of organizations, like, believe it or not, when people do shit to you while you're working, it's not necessarily because it's out of maliciousness, but incompetence. Okay?
Yeah. They're afraid.
So, well, I mean, it's like here's the thing. Not everyone, like, okay, I think that if you want to know how to build a PC, a lot of the people at Linus Tech Tips could probably help you out.
Yeah.
If you want to know tech stuff like, hey, should I use fiber optics? Should I use 25 fiber optic or 10 fiber optic? They could probably tell you some shit like that.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at workflow, managerial stuff like that, like, you need a manager.
Yeah.
Like, people who manage people. And not only do you need a manager, because a manager is only one part of the thing, you need a leader. Okay? Just because Linus and whoever is the face of that may be charismatic enough to put in front of a camera doesn't necessarily mean they're leaders in the classic sense of the word, okay?
Yeah. Just because you're a good
if you've
manager,
watched...
Just because you're a good manager doesn't necessarily make you a great leader, and just because you're a great leader doesn't necessarily make you the greatest manager.
Well, not really, no. What I was saying is that okay, being charismatic doesn't make you a leader. A leader is someone who leads from the front. They're willing to say, here's the plan, here's what we're going to do. And if I'm wrong, that's my thing. Like, if you look at some of Linus's videos where they're like there's one where they did an AMD upgrade for someone's computer. They were like putting new FiOS or something in their place, and he's like, they're like, why? Who did that? You did that. You told us to do that. He's like, yeah, I'm the boss. Like, that's like a dick thing to say to someone, and that's on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's on camera. So, like, here's the thing. Okay, I have a degree in sociology and political science. Okay. Sociology means I study people, all right? But I would have to have studied that office for like 3 months to 6 months to a year to give you a full diagnosis. But there's a lot of small warning signs, but not enough. I don't have enough information to be able to say this is what's going on, this is what's happening. What I will say is they need a leader. And they need someone who's good at managing people.
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Yeah.
Will they get that? I don't know. But I also am not going to be like, this woman was disgruntled. Let me tell you something, okay? Have you ever worked in customer service or know someone who worked in customer service?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you ever call the customer service line and someone says, no one's ever complained about me, let me tell you something. If you work with anybody, even if you are a top-notch employee, someone will complain about you.
Yeah.
That's just... Because, like, here's the thing. It could not even be you. Someone could just be having a bad day, and they met you, and you're the person who stuck out, and they're like, I'm going to complain about your ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Possibility. Yeah.
So if someone comes up to you and says, oh, I've never had a complaint, bullshit. Yeah. You're full of shit. The fact that you said that tells me that there's something going on here, because everyone's had if you deal with the public, you've had complaints. Okay? So, like, there isn't, like, you could have the best company of all time. There's going to be a disgruntled employee. Statistically, there has to be some disgruntled employees. If you find some place where people are like, oh no, all of our employees are happy and no one ever complains, that place is a fucking cult. Get out of there.
Yeah.
It's healthy to have a certain level of discontent in a place. Now, if it's where the vast majority of the people who work there are discontent, you have a problem in the opposite direction. Okay, but there's always going to be some malcontents in every organization.
Yeah.
Okay, but as far as this, like I said, this lady's like, well, they made me do my job and they overloaded me. Okay, that's fair. They should have had a team of social media managers, not one person.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a managerial issue.
Yeah, and a lot of it, a lot of that also comes down to like, yeah, you have companies that either have a profit margin that's either razor thin or they're just real penny pinchers. Like they don't,
Yeah.
So there's like, man, we probably can get one person to do this, and then that one person burnt out and burned out, crashed, and like, maybe we should probably hire a couple more people to do this rather than just one person.
Well, the thing is, most businesses are reactive instead of proactive, right?
Yeah.
Like the proactive thing to do would be, okay, we have 150 people working with us. Reasonably, we need to get X amount of we need to get this much content out and get these many views and have these many sponsorships in order to get everyone paid, to pay for everything, plus everyone's salaries, all that type of shit. I understand that. Look, own a business, have no complaints about that. So, let's see. Plus, we need people in the back doing like the infrastructure shit so that we can function as a business. So, of that 150, only about 100 are actually effective. Maybe they have out of that 50. Maybe the 50 that are left over, those are the background infrastructure people. Maybe 20 of those people can kind of bounce between both sides. The video making people and the people making shit run on the back end. Okay?
Yeah.
Fair. Okay? So let's say between 100 and 120 people. They should have 10 teams. 10 teams, 10 people each. 10 people each. Then they go in, give it to maybe a group of 10, like 5 or 10 people. Like, hey, okay, look at these videos. Do these look good? Whatever. These are your editors. These are the people who make sure, okay, is this shit on point? This is where machine learning would be really fucking useful because this shit has to go out, okay? But you only have one person dealing with these videos. 10 teams, 10 videos. And then you basically you cut it down. You put out you put out 5 videos a week.
Yeah.
Nothing on the weekend. Maybe a podcast on the weekend because podcasts takes less energy and to put together than videos. Okay, so boom, there you go. You have your revenue stream. Okay, you have people. And basically, you do a bevy of videos first, like maybe a month's worth of videos. You put those out, and then you convert everything over in that month to the new format. So you have, you have 50 people working on videos that are coming out this week. Then the other people working on videos that are coming out the next week. So basically, people get like a 2-week turnaround with their videos.
Yeah.
So then, if something's fucked up, something has to be changed, they can go out and go in and do that. They can re-record shit.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I have no expertise in the tech field. I don't know how video editing works, but I have managed people and I do know workflows.
Yeah.
Maybe have those 20 people that kind of bounce between both teams when shit needs to be like when they need all hands on deck. Maybe have some of those people do some fluffy make fluff fun little videos that you can kind of throw in there when people need some downtime, or there's the holidays or some shit and no one's making videos. There you go.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna stay at, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's the worst place in the world to work, because, like I said, listen, man. Every place of employment, even if you're self-employed, has its ups and downs.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as the perfect place to work, unless you have generational wealth where you don't have to work and you just sit around in your house all day doing whatever the fuck you want. But how many of there are those in the world? That's a very small tip of that pyramid, huh?
It's like, I'm not saying I don't believe her at all. I'm just saying, like, this is one person. I'm not saying her story is completely false, but there's a bit of hearsay, he said, she said, stuff in here.
Hearsay.
What?
Hearsay.
Hearsay stuff, and
Hearsay. Yeah, it's hearsay.
it's one of those things. It's like that's interesting. It's too bad if all this happened, but I think you know if more people start coming out and start saying stuff, then it'll be like, oh, well, maybe maybe this maybe there's some real problems with the social aspect of that company and how they handle their employees and the problems with their employees. But
That could be the case.
so
It
oh,
can go either way. I'm like I said, I'm gonna reserve judgment until I get more confirmation of what's been
exactly.
going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, because you know, like I said, thus far it just sounds like they aren't a well managed business.
No, they got. The thing is, I started watching Linus Tech Tips back in I think it's like 2018 because I really started getting into computers. I wanted to. I finally had the money, started building my own gaming PC, and I wanted to learn a little bit more about learn a little bit more about computers. They were one of the Jay's 2 cents, Linus Tech Tips, and even Gamers Nexus were probably the first three channels I started watching when it came to computer stuff. Um, and it's kind of sad. It's sad for me because this is one of the channels that got me into computers, um, and they grew fairly quickly within the last few years with all the stuff
So
that
that
they
makes
attached.
sense.
Yeah, with all the
That's
stuff
what
that
the issue is.
yeah
That's what the issue is. They grew too fast, and they didn't have they grew too fast, and they didn't have the means to sustain it.
yeah yeah because this is all of these mistakes and stuff that they were making was in the past was probably the past few years. So the past probably 2 or 3 years. You know, at least the past year or so, they were making these mistakes. A lot of their benchmarking errors and stuff like that. And yeah, they got too big too quickly. They added, I think the channel's tech circuit. They acted that Mac based segment of that Apple based segment of their channel. They built that lab to test consumer products, which definitely wasn't cheap. Because they, for example, head that head thing that they used to test like headphones and stuff like that. That's over $100,000 equipment. It's super expensive. So that wasn't cheap. Um, so yeah, it's hopefully they figure things out. Hopefully they clean up their image. Taking a break was probably at least the smartest move to try to sit and figure out, all right, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna fix this mess? How are we gonna the problem I have with all of it though is like the fact that it took somebody else to point this out. Like they were just gonna keep like if Gamers Nexus didn't raise a stink about their benchmarking errors and not just their benchmarking errors, but there was one big thing that really was I found annoying, and that's the fact that they practically destroyed a startup company, and they destroyed a startup company. So what happened was that they received a prototype water block for a 4090 GPU. And what they decided to do, because they didn't have a 4090 on hand, they decided to use a 3090 Ti instead. And that's a big no-no, because those water blocks are specifically designed for that specific card. So if it's like a 4090, this is designed for a 4090. It's only going to work efficiently with a 4090. And so they decided to just use a 3090 Ti instead. And they ended up mocking the product because it wasn't working properly, because it was with the wrong card. It wasn't, they weren't using it with the right card. And then what happened? So they were called out on it, but Linus doubled down. It's like, well, even if we did use it with a 4090, it still would have been a bad product. But the company, this small startup company, was like, after they were done with the product, they wanted their product back. And so what would happen was, it was a game of cat and mouse trying to get their product back, because it was the best prototype they had. And they're like, yeah, we'll give it back to you. And what happens is at their big big conference that they have every year, where fans and stuff can come and meet them, and they talk about tech and whatnot. They ended up auctioning off their prototype. And so they auctioned off their prototype, and then so you have these individuals, a small startup company that probably has barely any money to file a lawsuit. They're probably excited to get their stuff on Linus Tech Tips, because it's like, this is a big tech channel. This is, it might actually go somewhere. And so they weren't able to get their product back, and they were wondering if they could get compensated for their product. And Linus wanted to play the semantics game. It's like, we didn't sell it, we auctioned it off. It's like, what? He still sold it though. He didn't. He because he was being called out on it, and wanted to play the whole semantics game. And now it's just kind of like, man, what's going on with these people? It's like, what are you guys doing that you just, I thought you had at least a little bit of integrity, and then you go out and pull stuff like this. Like, yeah, not only are they damaged, it's that small startup damaged, but also the who's gonna work with that company now? Who's gonna work with Linus Tech Tips now, as a small startup that wants to get their name out there? If they're gonna get treated like that.
Well, statistically, most businesses fail in the first 5 years. If you have a business that lasts longer than 5 years, congratulations, you're part of the 15% that made it.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. Okay. While I empathize with the small company that pinned their hopes on Linus Tech Tips, I'm gonna say right now, it's you kind of have to anytime you go into a business endeavor, you have to go in with the knowledge that you might fail.
Yeah.
That's par for the course. Not to say what Linus Tech Tips did was right. It was not. They shouldn't have done that. But ultimately, once again, this boils down to bad leadership, shitty management.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason my own channel is called BS Busters, because I can cut through that shit very quickly.
Yeah.
Bad management. Okay. And you want to know why? You want to know why? You want to know why the management is so bad? Because the CEO of the company is Yvonne Ho. You know who Yvonne Ho is?
Who is she? No,
You've
that's his
watched his
wife,
videos.
right?
You
Yeah, that's his wife.
exactly.
Yeah.
So how the fuck are you think his wife is gonna go up there and hold him accountable for fucking up? You think he's gonna hold his wife accountable for fucking up?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. There's a reason why you don't work with family. Because when someone's fucking up, you can see like, you fucking up. Get the fuck out of here. You're fired.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, what do I know? I'm just some guy. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, I definitely agree that 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 maybe he should have had somebody else that wasn't a family member. Nepotism, that's the thing. Nepotism will bring you down.
Well, I mean, the thing is, even if someone's competent, it's like you couldn't find any place else to work but with your family. Like all the, I mean, you're in Canada. Canada is a large country.
Yeah.
There's lots of other places to work. But I'm gonna stay out of it. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna zip throw that key away.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Well, in any case, I think we've belabored this topic enough. Anything else you'd like to bring up before we move on to the next?
No, no, I got nothing to add.
Okay. Um,
Mario Wonder.
Wonder Mario. Sorry, I was doing something. Mario Wonder apparently won't have online play. But then I heard there
Good.
might be hints to online play. But from what all I know is it sounds like it won't have online play. So
Look, It's a classic 2D Mario game. Does it need online play for real? I mean,
yeah,
I need to. Who's gonna be Luigi? Shut the fuck up and play the damn game.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna leave it
Yeah,
alone.
it,
I mean, listen. I saw this game. I'm like, this looks very exciting. I like the fact that Mario Wonder. I like that they kind of took a step back from that art style they had in New Super Mario Brothers. Because really, let's keep it real. The best looking New Super Mario Brothers game was New Super Mario Brothers U on the Wii U. The rest of those games looked like ass.
yeah,
Actually, no, they didn't look. They were basic. They were basic bitch games. You could tell they were using a standardized engine to make those games.
yeah,
All right. And I wasn't used to that because, even though that all the other Mario games were using a standardized engine, each game still felt kind of handcrafted. Whereas those new Super Mario Brothers games felt assembly line. like, we have to do this in order to make a 2D Mario game. It needs to do this, 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 and this, and we have to insert these into these levels. So every 4 levels, you have a level that's open, you have a level that's underground, you have a level that has water, you have a level that has some weird mechanic that you'll never use except on the Star Road again. Like, shit like that. It's like, this feels very uninspired. Except for New Super Mario Bros. U. That game was really good. That game let me do one of my favorite things, which is in order to defeat Bowser at the end of the game, you gotta jack his little bastard of a son's ride and crash it into Bowser. It was like, oh, that's great, because I hate Bowser Jr. and I'm not crazy about Bowser, so yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's the thing about the online stuff. They didn't really bother me. Apparently, people are getting their panties in a bunch about it, but it's just
No one was using it.
Yeah.
No one was playing those games online. Because didn't they add online gameplay for New Super Mario Bros. U?
I think so.
No one was using it. Look, listen. All these companies take metrics of how many people are doing X, how many people are doing Y, how many people are doing Z. I guarantee the amount of people using Nintendo's shitty online that you pay $30 to $20 to $50 for a year for, in order to fucking play Mario online, they probably looked at that and said, "Why we're not going to put fucking servers up for this game?" And they shouldn't.
Yeah.
You want to know how? Let me put on my old man hat. You know how we played? You know how we played with our friends in old 2D Mario games? You played as Mario, your friend played as Green Mario. Okay? Someone died, you switched out. Okay?
Yeah, that was the old.
That's how you did it back in the day. Oh, I need online play. Hey, get the fuck out of my face. That shit. I need to play online. And here's the thing, shitty online too, because Nintendo's online isn't great.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Dare I say it's mediocre.
Yeah, exactly.
Say that, people get mad. Like, don't say that.
Yeah. Anyway, well, another manufacturer has decided to put their hat in the ring when it comes to PC handheld gaming consoles. Lenovo is putting their hat in the ring, and I'm predicting a crash. The PC handheld market crash within like the next the next couple of years. There will be few survivors.
We've got 5. You had the Nvidia Shield plus whatever like enthusiast handhelds that came up before the Nvidia Shield. Then you've got the Switch, which I know people are going to get mad at this. The Switch is a handheld gaming PC.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. It is. I mean, it is a computer, but obviously, it's not.
It has memory. It has a CPU. It has a GPU. Okay, everything you can hack one and put Linux on it and run applications on it. It is a computer. Okay,
but
it's just hyper ultra specialized. But that's neither here nor there. You got the Steam thing. You got the Steam Deck. You got like everyone's throwing. You got that shit from AMD from another company. Alienware's got one. I mean,
you got
like at this point,
you got let's see, Iron Neo, Iron Odin. You got let's see who else. 1X Play, GPD, You got all these companies, and you know
It's getting ridiculous. Okay.
it's getting out of hand. It's like you know there can only be few. That's what's gonna so it's gonna end up happening. Like some of these, the problem with a lot of these companies, they don't have an infrastructure to hold them up besides their computers, besides their handhelds. So they have to come out with a new one every 6 7 months.
Yep.
Which is gonna it's gonna oversaturate things, and it's gonna crash. I mean, yes, they are laptops in a console form factor, but they're still not
In a
really.
handheld form factor.
Yeah,
But I get
handheld
what you're
form
saying.
factor, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're still not really laptops. They're still like
No. I mean, if you hook
entertainment
up, I think
devices.
you can hook up a Bluetooth or USB keyboard to it and mouse. You could conceivably do that, and I'm pretty sure someone, someplace, if they're really hard up, would do that. You could do the same thing to the Steam Deck if you really cared to hook up a Bluetooth keyboard. But despite all of that, why would you? These are devices that are optimized to run games. So, what does this mean? It means that you know they have to balance having a device that is going to be like basically they can't think of these handheld gaming PCs as like they're treating them like a cell phone. Like a new model comes out every year. You got to look at this shit like Nintendo looked at the Game Boy, where the Game Boy came out in '89. Like
Yeah,
I want to say, but in Japan I think it came out in '87, but in the States '89, and they supported that shit until like 98. Like you gotta look at almost 10 years. You gotta make it so that your shit can run on these things 5 years from now, and the hit to performance is acceptable.
yeah.
And if I don't trust a PC hardware manufacturer, which is what Lenovo is, to have that mindset.
No, exactly, and it's gonna be a problem. Really, the only handheld console I probably have the most respect for is the Steam Deck. Asus gave it their college try. I think even being hamstrung by Windows, they at least gave at least in my opinion, has given the best effort when it comes to usability. But yeah, the Steam Deck. The thing about the Steam Deck is it using weaker, older hardware than the rest of them? Yeah,
It's
but
using older hardware, but because it uses everything's optimized to run in Linux and the OS for the system, like a lot of those games still run great on the Steam Deck.
yeah, it's like it's really easy to use. You just you don't have to go through the Windows sign up thing, which that's one of the biggest things about it is like about these PC ones. You just can't turn it on and use it like the Steam Deck. Um,
I mean, you could. You just take off Windows and put. You take off Windows and
Steam
you put
OS.
Linux of a distro of Linux on it.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it's
Most people don't know how to use Linux. Like people don't want to learn coding just to use their damn PC. It's not like it was back in the day when computers first came out, where you had to know some form of coding in order to use your computer. It's not like that anymore, and thank God. Okay, thank God. I don't want anyone. Yeah, I want to have to. I don't want to have to get a degree in coding in order to use my computer.
yeah, exactly. But it's just obnoxious. How many of these things just keep coming out, and I'm
What, you don't
perfectly
like the
accept.
oversaturation of the market?
Of course not, because the thing about oversaturation, I feel like it hampers innovation and it creates a lot of confusion uh, pertaining to consoles, because you got like 15 SKUs of every console, like every handheld that comes out. It's just kind of like, it's like, oh, well, there's the Neo S, and then the Neo XF, SX, S2, and then the Neo S2 Ultra, and then the Neo S2 Pro. It's like, well, they range from anywhere between $500 to $1,000, and I'm just kind of like, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Steam Deck because I can get the best Steam Deck still for like $500,
Yeah, exactly.
a little bit over $500, and it gets the job done. Yeah. Look, man, what it boils down to is that there's probably going to be a mini crash, because it's not a major crash because there's not enough products in the market for there to be a major crash. And I think Valve will be fine because the Steam Deck is connected to their marketplace, and as long as Steam is good, they'll be good. As far as these other companies, I think Nvidia might be able to keep it going, but everyone else is done.
Yeah. Because a lot of the stuff in the Steam Deck is custom to a certain degree as well.
Yeah.
It's just, and the stuff in the other stuff is just like, this is just kind of the bare, a little bit of the bare minimum. It's essentially using off the shelf stuff. Obviously, there's a little bit of optimization when it comes to heating, and when it comes to like voltage and all that, clocks, all that other stuff. But
well, the real strength of the Steam Deck is that a lot of the a lot of the games that are run on the Steam Deck also have to run in Proton, where Proton is a Linux/Vulkan based decoder. It basically emulates like Windows, so that you can play your games on non-Windows devices. So, like, if something runs in Proton and you're running a Linux distro and there's not a Linux version for it, you can run it in Proton and play it.
Yeah.
So, functionally speaking, So functionally speaking, like, you basically have this emulator that lets you play your games on other shit. It's like I'm playing Super Nintendo on my PlayStation, bitches. Linux distro, or vice versa. So listen, Steam will be fine. The Steam index will be the Steam Deck will be fine. As far as these other companies, they probably fucked.
Yeah.
Just like motion control. Nintendo still kind of can rock motion control because they got the Wiimotes and all that shit, and the Joy-Cons and all that shit. Whereas, what's it called? Fucking Microsoft tried. They tried so hard with the Kinect. It was sad. It was sad. But ultimately, people didn't want that shit. They were like, "Look, I want conventional control. Stop doing this weird shit.
Yeah.
Stop being weird."
Yeah. But crash incoming. You heard it here for. Well, I'm not the first to say it. I'm sure there's other people that are, more intelligent when it comes to this sort of stuff, or this emerging industry. But something's got to give. Like, there's too many of these freaking things coming out typically at once, and it is gonna, like, if you're just discovering things, it's just kind of it's gonna be a pain in the ass to try to figure out which one to get. I think most people will just flock to the Steam Deck because there's just a lot of information out there about it. It's easy to troubleshoot stuff because it's the same freaking thing. A lot of people are doing mods and stuff with it. Like, you're not gonna have any difficulty trying to figure out, getting it up and running or getting modifications for it or doing anything for that matter, versus all these other ones that are, from different manufacturers and range from different eras, and it's just the whole I feel like the market's a bit of a mess, but
I agree. Here's what I think, and I'm just gonna say it right now. I think that they're either gonna have to shape up or ship out.
yeah,
Either way, it's gonna be interesting to see the fallout. I'll be over here playing my playing my PC, being like,
Yeah.
peasants, 30 frames per second. Fuck that shit. 30 frames. Fuck that. Anyway, that's it. I got nothing else. I'm just gonna keep it moving.
All right. Mario's voice actor is retiring, which I'm not shocked.
Oh no, Charles Martinet. I'm being facetious. I was like, when I heard about it, I was like, oh, that's so sad. But then I thought, the man's 67 years old. He's the same age as my mother.
Yeah. I was like, he's been.
It's time for him to retire.
Yeah, he's been doing this for about 30 years. So I mean, it's
well, about not 30, like 20, like almost 30, like 25, 26, maybe 27 years.
Yeah, that's why I said about 30, because he's been doing it. So yeah, about 27 years. So
Because the first voiced Mario game was Mario Teaches Typing, but that wasn't Charles Martinet who did the voice. It was some other guy.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a kid. My favorite Mario voice actor will always be Captain Lou Albano for the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. 'Cause I always found Charles Martinet's voice for Mario to be incredibly annoying. So thank goodness it's gone. I also don't like Chris Pratt's voice for Mario. So I wish they would just get an Italian person to voice an Italian person. Can we do that? Can we give some work to an Italian voice actor?
Yeah, obviously they're using a new voice actor for the new
Mario Wonder. Yeah, but it sounds just like he's emulating Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
It's not really.
They probably
It's not a new voice.
Yeah, they probably want to keep the same voice just for brand recognition and whatnot. So there's something.
Man, I'll be honest with you. Stunt casting. The person, if they did my ideal Mario movie, the person who I would pick to do the voice for Mario would be fucking Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito would be the perfect Mario voice. It's like, hey, Luigi! Or even better, just get a New York Italian guy to voice, just random New York Italian guy from New York City, from Brooklyn. Luigi, what are you doing there, Luigi? Hey, Mario, I don't know what's going on. We got sucked down a pipe. I don't know. Luigi, we gotta get out of here. This giant freaking turtles here. What's going on over here?
Anyway,
Now that would be great.
Yeah. You got any free topics before we call it a night?
I got nothing but this. Let's see. Let me take a look at my. I think I have something that I can bring over. Well, nah. I'll save it for tomorrow because it's a really good story. Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing. Get it if you can.
Yeah, this game.
Don't balk at the $60 price tag. It's really like I'm one of those people who's like, $60. I ain't paying no damn $60 for a computer RPG. And then I finally bit the bullet, and it's so good. It's so good.
It is quickly becoming one of my favorite games of all time.
I mean, don't say that, man. You got a lot of life ahead of you. There might be something that surpasses it.
Oh yeah,
Just say
I said
your game, your favorite game of this year.
Yeah.
It might be your game of the year.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of that's. I got nothing else to say. I got nothing.
You got nothing else to say? Oh,
I got nothing.
I don't really have anything either. So you can give your sign outs and we can call it a night.
All right, this is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. Glad to be on another cast. That's it. I got nothing.
Yeah, glad to have you. This is Kenoshi Abominita here with another Project Console. Here to say have a good week, have a good weekend, and have a good life. We will see you guys